Section 1. The colony had always been a quiet outpost, far from the bustling heart of the galaxy. Small, isolated, and resilient, humanity had carved a home on a distant world, a beacon of hope in the void. Yet, even the strongest walls couldn't protect them from the fear that crept through the settlements as whispers of a coming threat spread. A threat more advanced, more powerful, a threat that saw humans as nothing more than insignificant anomalies. For months, the colony had been preparing. They built makeshift defenses, desperate attempts to shield themselves from the unknown. But no amount of fortifications could prepare them for what was coming. The alien fleet appeared on their radar, a mass of ships larger and deadlier than anything humanity had faced. Their technology was unparalleled, their firepower overwhelming. The settlers clung to hope, but even hope was running thin. In the midst of this uncertainty stood Captain Miles Rourke, a former fighter pilot from the Galactic Wars, now a reluctant leader of a fledgling defense force. His reputation was a distant memory, a relic of battles fought in the far reaches of space. Yet, in the quiet moments of training simulations and strategy discussions, he knew that memories would not be enough this time. This battle would be real, and failure was not an option. Rourke's gaze was steely as he looked over his small, hand-picked group of soldiers, men and women with varying backgrounds and skills, each chosen for their potential to defy the odds. They were not soldiers in the traditional sense. They were miners, farmers, scientists, ordinary people thrust into a war they weren't prepared for. Their gear was outdated, their ships patched together with spare parts. They had no fleet, no advanced weaponry, only the will to fight. Among them was Sarah, a young engineer whose knowledge of the colony's technology gave her an edge. She had cobbled together makeshift drones and weapons from scavenged parts, while the others relied on Rourke's tactical guidance. There was also Eli, once a farmhand, now a sharpshooter with a natural talent for precision. And though their odds were slim, their resolve was fierce. Rourke's voice cut through the air as he rallied them, speaking of strategy, of adaptability, of the need to outmaneuver the enemy. "The galaxy underestimated us once," he said. "They won't do it again." The words hung heavy in the tense silence. It was a gamble, a desperate gamble against an enemy that saw humans as nothing more than inferior beings. Yet, within that gamble, there was a spark, a recognition that even the smallest underdogs could turn the tide if they refused to be crushed by superiority. Section 3. The turning point came not through overwhelming force, but through human ingenuity. Rourke stood before his team once again, watching them work tirelessly in makeshift workshops and battle maps. The aliens were relentless, but their arrogance was their weakness, and Rourke knew it was time to exploit that. Sarah's latest innovation was a new form of communication jamming, one that disrupted the enemy's artificial intelligence network. Without their advanced systems working in sync, the alien fleet struggled to coordinate. This gave the humans the window they needed. Small, surgical strikes became their hallmark. Where before they were scattered and reactive, now they were precise and devastating. Eli continued to outmaneuver the enemy with sniper precision, picking off key officers and disrupting supply lines with ruthless efficiency. The humans began to force the aliens into desperate measures. Frustration spread among the fleet commanders. They realized their technology couldn't predict the humans' next move, leaving them vulnerable to tactics they couldn't anticipate. In the heart of the colony, new forms of guerrilla warfare took shape. Small, nimble teams operated in the shadows, striking rapidly and disappearing into the vast terrain. These squads moved like phantoms, dismantling enemy defenses from within. Technology, once thought useless, became a weapon, makeshift explosives, hacked drones, and old fighters modified beyond recognition. Rourke's leadership was becoming legendary within the colony. His ability to adapt, to see through the aliens' grand strategies, and to use psychology against them was unmatched. He pushed his team to think outside the conventional boundaries, forcing them to be creators and disruptors. The aliens thought they were fighting an inferior species. They failed to realize that within every desperate human mind lay the capacity for brilliance when survival was at stake. The human settlers, once seen as mere farmers and miners, became warriors, scarred but resilient, they were stronger than the technology that sought to crush them. They understood that the galaxy's silence had been their greatest advantage. While the universe had overlooked them, they had built something more powerful, a unity forged in adversity. Sarah's innovations continued to surprise the enemy. Her designs allowed drones to adapt to changing conditions, deploying unpredictable maneuvers that disabled alien weaponry. With each encounter, the humans pushed the boundaries of their limited technology, creating a new language of battle, one the aliens couldn't understand. They moved from a reactive defense to a proactive offense, turning the tide inch by inch. Every battle became a victory for humanity, a reminder that even in the face of impossible odds, the smallest force could bring down the largest empire. The aliens began to realize they had made a fatal mistake in underestimating the human spirit, their resilience, and their ability to adapt. In the cold reaches of space, the galaxy began to take notice, not through diplomatic means or alliances, but through the echoes of defiance in the face of destruction. The humans had carved a place for themselves, not as victims, but as survivors. And with each battle, they proved they would not be forgotten, and that even silence could one day roar louder than the stars.